Okay, so we are ready to call to order the May 24th Transportation Committee meeting. If we could all please pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. And if we could just go around the room and call roll for recording. Scott, do you want to start us?
Okay, Scott Potts, board member.
Carol Bites, board member.
Dane Oaks O'Neill, board member. There's also several members of the public, and Lauren Small, the business manager, is here, but has stepped away temporarily. So, as you guys can see, the only two things on the agenda tonight are the second presentation from Sonia from Bus Boss, and we're going to discuss the what we want in the RFP going forward briefly, and then there may be we may add an issue here, time permitting, later on. Hopefully we'll be able to get to that. So, can you all see the? Okay, yeah, I think we're good then. Sonia, whenever you are ready, thank you.
Hi, here. Sonia again. Here. Basically, I got some data from you guys to show me kids in the area and who was transported, who wasn't. So I did, normally this process that we do when we get data from you, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks of us to get everything in there. So I didn't do everything that we normally do, but I did want to make sure that we located all of your students into the system, whether they're private school or public school, they're all in here, however you need them. So what I did was I assigned colors to the different schools. That's why you can see the colors of the shirts, you know, so that you can see which kids are which. And it basically shows it here. AEC, the pink, high school, middle school. Your main schools, Birchwood Elementary, you know, just your main, and your MEC school here is the blue. So we can change colors really easily, but it quickly, you know, just shows you where your students are. And I noticed that you had some out in Sinking Springs for something for BEC. I'm not sure if that was a special needs situation all the way out here. There's some kids, I'm guessing their special needs were
Don't we have a contract with
private
Exeter to
school
bus?
or,
Yeah, that might be
that was
the
a van,
Exeter.
yeah, so that was a van stop.
That's probably
It's a homeless child.
Out in Exeter?
No, Sinking Springs, she said, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
what it is?
siblings.
Why is he going to our district then?
Well,
I don't know, that's this one
yeah,
here.
I'll find out.
Okay, well,
Um,
whatever, he's a,
Depends
Blake
on who's
Jones.
attached to.
Yeah, Blake
Mm.
Jones, he has, what'd you say, to East Main Street, that's one, let me see your stops, hold on. Oh, here's the one I was talking about, sorry, Angst.
we probably don't want any names, do we?
Nope.
We don't want names.
And there's Kurtz Mill Road, so there's people that are out pretty far in your stops. There were some that you had out pretty far too. This one here, 220 Bradley Avenue.
Do you have a way to block the
Name.
name information, just so,
Oh, I'm sorry.
just for privacy concerns, I'd rather
Okay.
not have the names and addresses of.
No problem, names, okay, so we've got a stop out here, 220 Bradley Avenue, Sinking Springs. So they're set up as being in, one in Monocacy and one in Birchboro Elementary, they're both, I'm not sure. So yes, we've got those in the system. I didn't route to them because I'm thinking those are special vans. So what I did was I went and I located all of your kids. I assigned your stops based on the stops that, and you can see, I mean, you guys have them everywhere, based on the stop locations that you guys provided. And then I went in and I created routes for, I think I did BEC, let me see here. Computer's cutting stuff off. What projection is this at? Can this be changed at all? Does it have a better, because it cuts stuff off if it's way too small. Oh, I can't tell, I don't know. But there's an exit, yeah. yeah, this down here is a little section down here that shows the schools. So I can look, I didn't know, and I just randomly picked a contractor because of the two contractors that you have, right, Kleins and, was there one? Yeah, so I just randomly located them on, picked them to, for Kleins being right down here, right off of 422, that's what I'm thinking, so.
Yeah.
So I created a route, actually I optimized the routes for BEC, so I'm not sure how many routes you're running now for your
How many
BEC
did you come up
kids.
with?
If I run the route somewhere over you, we came up with 11 routes. And 11 routes, and I can zoom to 4 here so you can see the loads. And I didn't start balancing them, I just went to quick do just a quick, but I can go through and pick balance or fill the capacity, there's different things. And I didn't have bell times, so if you tell me what the bell time is for BEC, I can quickly update these so you can see what the start time would have to be. Do you guys know what the bell time is? What's the earliest that they can get there for BEC?
What time do you drop off at DEC, pick up?
Well, there's a combination of
Yeah, they-
MEC and BEC on those
On
buses.
the same bus.
Okay.
So
So-
it's two different drop times. It's like, what,
Which we can
8:10?
do, yeah.
8:10 and 8:30.
8:10 and 8:30, so the latest for BEC is
8:30.
8:30, and then, and when we combine, we can combine, what did I do? Like 0, 8, over 30. Latest, ideal is like what, 8:10, 8:15? When's the actual bell time? When's the actual bell time? Anybody know what the actual bell time is?
As we said, they go to the two schools. They drop off at the first school at approximately 8:10 and the second school at 8:30.
Right.
Some buses drop off MEC first, some drop off BEC first.
Okay, so
Okay.
depending on how
Same
you
way.
bunch them, yeah. So what I'm gonna just do is I'm gonna put the earliest, the ideal, the latest, and then the bell time is 8:20. I don't know, just to have some times in there, because once I have that, then I can go to my routes and set them all to be the right start time for, according to the bell time. So this one would have to start at 7:14. So with my route, tell me if I'm going too fast, guys. With my route summary overview, these are just routes for BEC, no combination of anything.
Okay.
And we would do that if that's what you'd want in the optimization, we would combine,
Okay.
we would actually try to figure out the best ones to combine too. So you see come up with 11 routes, 370 kids, total time 8 hours, total miles with, total miles without, and total miles 164 for pickups. So you're looking at 8 hours if you just run BEC by itself. And you can see there's definitely space on these buses to put another school on. But we try to keep it within, I think I tried to keep it within a 45 to 50-minute ride time, things like that, so that the kids weren't on the bus too long. And that's the whole point with this, is like right now, I created that first fleet optimization set here, specifically with that particular parameter,
Right.
45 minutes and then 60 minutes travel time.
Right.
And then I didn't fill in the capacity, I only did 80%. But if we are going to combine schools, if I would go in here and I would add additional students, I could do that. And then I could group the schools together. So let me add another one so you can see what I mean. Which ones are usually combined, you said? BEC and
BEC and MEC.
MEC? Okay. And say maximum ride time, 15 minutes. Say we're going to go, again, 80% or you tell it. And then I'll add the students. And you can go and add them by grade and special needs if you don't, to certain, or by a zone if you want to do it for certain areas. I'm going to do everything except my afternoon kindergarten, because these are all the pickups,
Right.
right? So not the afternoon. The midday runs are done separately. So there's 707 kids. And I can say route schools together, or group students by school. So if I wanted the BC to be by themselves, it'll do fleet optimization for BEC first and then MEC. If I say group them together, then it'll run both together.
Right.
And then, again, I have to say, what kind of bus do I want to use? If you want to try it with a standard bus, if we had your data for all of your vehicles, we could actually put that in the fleet here and use the buses from the fleet, and then use those particular counts. You can say where to start them at, or you can say, no, they're all going to be run without a start, and then we'll determine which contractor is closest, which one will give you the better miles, according to routes. You can, you
Yeah.
can do different, and this is, again, just running different scenarios, and then that way we can see which ones are better for you. And you
Right.
can try, I'm doing Methacton now, and we tried different, variables, and so far, I mean, the last thing I did was his middle school, and we went from 22 buses to 15 to do his middle school. So he's, insane. He's really thinking about all different things that.
And they didn't get decimated with enrollment?
No.
Pretty much
Well, this
same-
was,
same
yeah,
enrollment.
and this is what we did, was he had rolled over his kids already. So we're planning his routes for next year, doing his fleet optimization for next year. And once he gets a database, he'll still be able to tweak and, change it, whatever he wants to do.
Uh-huh.
But what we've been doing is, I told him I would come up with 2 variations. That's what the price that we quoted, and you can have as many variations as you want, but we'll come up with different, like you can run routes with balancing the loads, or you can run routes with just filling it to capacity to seat size. Remember, high school kids 1.5 seats,
Right.
elementary school kids 1 seat, so it looks at that. Question?
You had that set at 50 minutes, I believe, when you combine the
And
two
50
buildings.
minutes for the students, that's the most that
Right,
the
the
students will be on.
right time is 50, and you combine the two buildings.
Yep.
Okay, let's say we wanted to drop that ride time to 35 minutes, what happens? First of all, how
How
many
many?
buses do you have right now?
Right now, I didn't say any buses, because this is a brand-new one. Before I had, what did I have, 11 buses?
11,
When I
yeah.
did NBC. Yeah, because this is a whole other set. If you look here under fleet optimization, this is going to be a brand-new set. You can have different route sets.
let's-
These are all
just so we can-
inactive routes.
So we can compare,
Yeah, Yeah.
give me a set that you determine the number of buses, and we'll look at the number of buses, number of minutes, and then,
You want to go back to BBC and just...
Just BBC by
top line,
itself,
Just to
or-
see what happens?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one that you have out there with 11,
okay, so let's just run
Buses.
It
BEC by
shows the
itself,
magic
but with
here.
how many minutes
shows the
instead?
magic.
Like 35 minutes, is that what you mean?
Just say
Okay.
35.
And again, 80%. Maximum travel time is the longest with the contractor, the bus garage, the first stop. That's the, you know what I mean? That's the maximum.
That adds the
Yeah, that
just the
is
time from the garage to
Exactly, from the garage to the first stop.
Okay.
So you can say, what's the longest I'm gonna pay my driver to go pick up those kids? So, depending on where the bus garage is stored, it's gonna add that extra travel time on there. So if you're saying, the maximum ride time for the kids is 35, but I can go as high as an hour or 45 or 55,
Okay,
whatever.
we'll keep
And
the
it
other
depends
variables
too, with your
constant.
tiering. It depends with your tiering, because if you're running your routes and then you only have a certain amount of time to get out there and get back and for your new schools, the first one could start real early and have a lot of time to get there,
Yeah.
but then now they have to quick and get out and back again. So, it just depends on the tiering, depends on how your bell times are set. That's why a lot of school districts are looking at starting elementary school
Yeah.
now instead of, first. So,
Yeah.
and then you could do that. You can do bell time analysis with that too, to see would it behoove you guys to do your elementary ones first, and then it depends,
Right.
So, and that's what this is. This fleet optimization specifically does that. It just creates these sets. So I'm going to clear and I'm going to add just BEC back in again, so that you can see the difference. 245, 172. So right now I set it to be 35. And do you want it to start at a particular garage or just none?
I think we want to leave everything else the same.
Clients,
We
okay.
just
So
want
I'm
to do a
gonna start at
comparison.
that. Okay, clients, okay. And then routes, and then, so I picked a 72 passenger bus starting at clients, okay? And then I click optimize routes. And I didn't use my laptop to do this, I actually used my desktop. Oh, I forgot to take that one kid off. So right there's one bus is going out there to pick up that one kid because it's 35 minutes
Okay,
max.
all right.
But
Well,
now
we
it's
could just
creating, yeah, so I'll delete that one. So then, like I said, this is what ifs. So none of this is gonna be active. The
Because-
first set I made active, just so you could see how you can edit it and tweak it after, okay? But this is gonna show me, I can run route costs, I can run passenger list, I can run bus schedules, everything on these inactive routes. And then see which ones, look like would work better, and then make those active, and then just tweak what's different about them when I make them active, if there's anything different. It's up to you guys. So right now, it's looking at all the stops, and it's saying, okay, will I exceed that 35 minutes if I put these stops on there? And if it does, it just stops trying to put it on. And then, so it's going out there, what stops are near my path, what stops are near, you see that? So everything you see, it's trying. So right now, it's at, it got to 34.8 ride time minutes. So now it moved on to the next route. So 29 minutes, you see how it's going, 29 minutes, 32 minutes, oop, wait, that one could be on. Now it's at 32.4 minutes, you see the top left?
Wow.
Travel time, ride time, stop, counts, and that's, so it just keeps trying. And you have some, really down south that have to come up, so, again, I don't know if those are special needs down there, so, right now it's just running it for everybody at JSBC. And when you pick the kids, if there's certain kids that you don't want in there, then you just uncheck those, and they won't be included, because they're special, you need a van for them, whatever. And you could designate that too in the special needs in the list, so that they
Right.
know. So right now it's at Route 5. So originally I had done 50 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna definitely be a lot more buses, because
Right.
we're gonna get to 35 minutes. But if that's all you have in
We
your
just wanted
second
to,
tier,
see it.
yeah, if that's all you have in your second
Processing,
tier,
yeah.
then, that's what you're gonna have to run it
It's
for.
all different.
And since I put 80%, see how it's going, of 58, that means 80% of 72 kids. It's that the maximum it's allowing is 58. And that's because elementary's 1C. If I would be running it for middle school, then it would see, high school is 1.5 seats.
Right.
So then,
Say that again? Elementary is 1C?
1 seat per student. So you can account for three
Right,
kids
right,
per
right,
bench,
right,
but I
right,
was only
yeah.
going
Per child.
80%. Yeah, so 58
Whereas you only put
best.
2 in the seat in middle
Where,
school. Okay.
exactly. But if I say 80%, then it's even less.
Right.
You actually get
Cool.
like, one,
Wow.
yeah. So now it's on Route 7. And this is going well. If we're running on my laptop, it's going fast. Because, normally it's a slower process, because it's trying all these calculations, all these different things. And normally it's running off of a database on a real server,
Right.
on a laptop, so. So down at the bottom, it says progress 84 of 146 stops. It's put on routes, 98 of 146 now. So you see that number across the bottom, that's how far it's gotten. 98 of 146
Okay.
stops. And that number just keeps going down as it's finalizing the routes.
Is the school on there somewhere, something?
Yeah,
You know when
you'll end up seeing all the routes headed to that last one. This is probably up there. Yeah, that's
Okay.
always, it always puts the contractor, the beginning, and then this last stop, and then it fills in between. You see that? So it starts off with the 2, and then starts filling in. See that? So there's the contractor, there's the school, and then just starts filling in. So this is probably right here's the school, and over here's the
Okay.
contractor. So now you've got that one stop out there, and I was trying to get that one and fill it in between. And I noticed a lot of times, what George, the way he created it was it actually goes out and picks up the furthest stops and then comes in on its way in. But when we do optimization, then we'll make them active and then we'll tweak them, because if there's any stops along the way that it could pick up to get to that first stop, we'll put them on that we have less miles without kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you don't end up having, your first stop 5
Right.
miles out.
The
You can have
order
one
of
along
doing
the
it.
way. Yeah, just switch
Yeah.
it so that it's number 2 instead of number 7, because, so that way you can get less miles without kids. Not saving routes. 13. So now I came up with 13 routes.
So
So you added 2 buses.
You gained 15 minutes of ride time and put on 2 buses.
Yep.
And one ran out special for that handicap, for that?
Oh, that's
bus?
one, that's right, it's
Yeah.
12.
Yep.
There's actually 12 routes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, see that first one, because it's really out there, it has to go all the way out to that.
Okay, and the assignment of buildings you took right off from our database. So if we wanted to tell the system, we
Mhm.
want third graders to all go to AEC,
Oh, okay, there's a tools, redistricting tool. Oh, you create zones, so I would need your zone. That was the first thing, because you need to create your boundaries so that I know which kids I'm moving. And then you pick your grade, so if,
but if we
Oh.
said we wanted all third graders to
In
go
the
to
whole
AEC.
district. That is the zone.
okay,
All
all districts, let me see, hold on. I think no, because you have to use the redistricting, only because the redistricting tool then modifies the routes. That will take care of the routes when it moves the kids. It's not just move them from one school to another. Now you have to look at the stops that they're on and set those stops to service the school that they were originally on, and then set the routes to service the school that they were, moved to. Because originally the routes that they were on would have been assigned to their first school, and their stops would have been assigned to their first school. But now that you're moving them to these other school, you would want their stops to service their new school. So the tool, that's what, let me just show you real quick how that works. So I got which school, like say, which one did you want to move them from?
Well, we want to come from Birdsboro to Amity,
From Birdsboro to?
Well,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
For third grade, right?
Just third graders.
Third
Yeah.
graders, yes, third graders.
Okay,
so what you want to do, Sonia, is change, you know how you have the grades of what Birdsboro is, 3, 4, 5, take
Yeah.
3 off.
Right.
It's just
Um,
4th and 5th.
But what happens is just the way that to move the grades, you can't, you
Can't
gotta
just
think of how
change
it
them.
affects routing. You can't just change because you wanna make sure that you're
We
looking
can't
at
just
routing.
assign third grade to AEC and say,
Yeah,
go pick up the
you
kids.
can, but then you're gonna have to do all your routing manually. If you actually had zones in the system, let me show you what happens. If I actually just quickly just create a zone, it's nothing major. It's gonna be a attendance zone for, what did you say, AEC? You wanna move AEC
AEC,
to,
from BEC to
from
AEC,
BEC? Okay, so let's do BEC.
but only for
Let's
third
do
grade.
that zone in, I don't know, color here. I'm just real quickly, I'm just doing this just so that you can, as a sample. So this is my BEC, right?
So
And
you just
then
established
AEC.
a zone for a
Yeah,
building.
I just, that was a real quick and dirty, zone for, now let's do one for AEC. Again, it's gonna be, and I saw someplace your zones, but I didn't have them handy with your, actual house number ranges and all that stuff, so I didn't wanna go and do that. But that's one thing that we will do if you give us your zones. So if I say this is my AEC zone, and it's probably up even higher, but just so you can
So you're just
see.
saying that's something that you left out
Exactly,
in
just
the
some,
demo?
exactly.
That it would
just-
be, normally it would be set up.
The actual
Just-
zones, yeah.
okay.
And then now I can say, okay, tools, redistricting, move from AEC, right?
From BEC.
I'm sorry,
From B's.
from BEC, sorry. From the BEC zone, this here, all of my third graders to AEC, right?
Yeah.
Select all, so all of this is my third graders. As soon as I select 3 here, it lists those kids here, select all, say where I want to move them to, BEC, and then when I say move students,
Now we're going to
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 AEC.
AEC.
From
To
BEC to AEC.
okay? Now it's going to say assign stops to service in schools, assign routes to service in schools, now it's doing what it's going to have to do routes. And it moves all of the third graders, because those are the ones I've selected. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm going from BEC to AEC, so I pick the BEC zone. I pick the Birdsboro Elementary School. I pick the third grade. That's all of the kids that are listed here, it's just third graders. I pick AEC and I say move students. And then now if I do that, I click OK, it's going to set those stops to service that school.
And this
It's
is
gonna set the
based
routes.
on the existing stops?
Yeah, yeah, the stops that they're currently assigned to will now be assigned to service AEC.
But it would take another, whatever, 10 minutes maybe to do this. right?
No, I mean, I could do it now if you want, but
Is that something you
again,
want?
it's,
Yeah, let's see what,
Sure.
if it's not gonna take 30
it doesn't now.
minutes.
Are you sure you want to move 92 students to AEC? Say yes. And I'll assign them to the schools, and now should be doing, finish everything.
So then you have to
I think it's
redo
done.
the routes?
No,
Have to
no, I
optimize
think
routes?
it already, yeah.
It's done
Done
already?
it. Yeah, I think it's done, so now let's look at the AEC students. I can clear, let me show you now. So now we want to look at the AEC third graders, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So let's get rid of stops. Let's display. Do you want to see the kids or the stops or their addresses? It's up to you. There's all different
I think
ways
we want
of
to see the
doing it.
buses now, how many buses are involved now?
Well, we didn't make those routes active. Remember, it's only if the routes would have been active. Those were the what if routes. Let's see. Yeah, see, I don't have, if I would have had AEC and BEC routes already in the system, then it would affect those routes. The BEC routes are affected because it got rid of the third graders.
Oh.
Yeah, so now when I do my report, student routing, route assignment for BEC, remove them. Because those I do have active, right? Now you'll see here. Let's see, so it would have moved. Let's see. So we moved BEC, oh, this is in fleet optimization. Let's see. Let's see, for characters. What is this one here? 75. So we'll take off the kids from the routes, right? Let me see, does it still have the same amount of kids? Report.
I think I'm hung up on your terminology. What do you mean by
Yeah,
active
I think
route?
it did, I think I closed it before I finished the routes. So it still has, yeah, no, it's still, all the kids are still there. Let me do that again, I gotta let it do what it has to do and stop giving it a BEC. Well, wait, yeah, my boundary doesn't cover all of BEC. So it only moves 92 of the kids,
Right.
yeah. It did, because remember my boundary's really
Right.
small. If I would have had the entire, it was only those
Right.
92 kids that were in that
I
boundary,
guess
and
we
that's,
get the
that's
idea.
why.
Our
Yeah,
boundary
that's-
for AEC
so now-
would be the entire district.
Ooh, that scared me. So now I should have, I moved them to AEC, so in my student report,
Yeah, let it go, Connor.
Let it go.
It's better. Is
student,
it all right for you?
yeah, that's fine. So student by school count in AEC, I should have student, third graders now. Oh, student by school by grade, let's do that report. Student by school by grade, that's one, we can do a count. For AEC, that's who we moved, right? Then we zoom in. So now, third graders, yeah, it upped. The third graders are now 197. So you used to have, I think it was 375, something like that for AEC. So moved those kids to those third graders. So I probably have routes now that have kids that don't have stops. I mean, that are stops that have zeros if they were third grade stops. Let me see, report, route, zero count stops. No, so there weren't just third graders there. Which is good, you do have stops that are combined. I noticed in the data that came in though, you guys had lots of stops that are at the same place. They're just spelled differently, like there was a LIMEK L, yeah, see? So this same stop could be in here twice because it's spelled K, L one way and K, I another way. So, yeah, so that's one of the things that when you have a program where you type in the stop description, they could inadvertently pick the wrong stop, and then we type in the wrong name. But with Bus Boss, it's not like that. You could literally pick the stop the way it's typed in, so there's only one. So we do have a tool that when we get the data from you, we can go ahead and combine stops for those that are duplicate stops. You know, like if I go down here and say line L-I-M-E-K-L, and I go over here and say L-I-M-E-K-I. So if I have any, like here's 2883 and 2883, I can combine those two stops instead of having two separate ones in the system, and then they'll both end. See, like right now, those kids, Brandon and Kylie, could end up on two separate buses because there's two separate stops. You know, so we do have tools to clean all that data up for you before we give you the program. So that, I mean, that's pretty much how it works. That's the redistricting tool is what moves all the kids from school to school to their routes. Once you have the routes in the system, is active, not just I did want to look at the route cost though. Does it happen in here? Let's see. Route cost, fleet optimization. I don't know what your fuel cost per mile is, but just to make it an even number. Overhead budget, I don't know, just big numbers, whatever. Let's see. So for the first one, daily fuel cost, driver cost, annual per student cost $15,000. I used a huge number, but that's for the first set. And then if I do it for the other one, cost for the second set. $15,987. So it came up just a little bit higher because of the extra bus that you add on. That's all. Bring that other one back up again. I see this one came up with 13 routes instead of 12. And you can, like I said, you can print out route costs from here too. And this, you know, you can do one route at a time and see which one's the one that's costing you the most. Or you can print out the rosters themselves. The bus schedule is the one that is really the one that you would use for state reporting, because this is the one that would show you the miles with and miles without. So you want to make sure all of those, the rosters, you can actually print so that you can see who, I don't have all of my routes selected, do I? Yeah, let's do that. Show all. There we go. So that shows me what kids are assigned to that route. And it's the route that I have selected. So this one has 50 kids on it, so print passenger list. And you can see which kids, the order of the stops and who got on it. And again, it's so that you can get an idea of the times, the miles with, miles without, counts, and times. And so you can see which ones will work out better for you. And that's the whole thing with this is try different ways. And even when you make them active, if it works out that you don't like them, delete them. Start over. You don't have to keep them active. Because this route set that I have here is always there. I can always go back and make them active again, and then play with them again. And I don't like that either. Go back, start over from what Bus Boss came up with, and keep playing with them active too. So you can make changes all you want. And that's basically what I did here. I started working my way down and just looking at the routes and saying, okay, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. Let me close the fleet optimization so we don't have so much stuff open. So you can see, I started playing, so that I put in a path point, because originally the fastest is to go right through here, but I wanted it to go around the block and come over. And I just, check to see what's 1 miles. Right now, I've got 3.64 miles without. Well, maybe I can, look at other stops and see if I can pick up others along the way. And that's how Bus Boss is best used, is specifically that.
How long does it usually take someone to come up to speed on the software?
We usually take 20 to 24 hours to do the training. And it's because we have your kids and your routes and everything in there. When they're learning the system, they already know. You know the area, you know the kids, you know everything, so you catch it,
Right.
a lot
It's not
quicker.
abstract.
Exactly, it's not just some map with some kids
Uh-huh.
that don't make any sense to you, it all makes sense. When you're down into the satellite view and you're looking at this, you're like, oh yeah, that's where, I don't have the internet here, do I? Yeah, I don't have the internet, so it's not gonna show satellite view,
But it could.
it could, it'll show it behind and you're like, oh wait, no, that's across the street, let me, move that stop, and you can. I mean, if I want to move this stop, if I'm saying, no, I don't want this stop here now, I can go ahead and move this stop up to here instead. And then it's going to say, I got to reroute my bus because I've moved it in there, I moved it up. So it's quick and easy, nothing major. If you want the bus to come another way, when the bus comes to get that stop, you don't want it to come up through here, you want it to come over and come, you can just say, no, I want my driver to go this way instead, because I know that area, going through there is a mess, I'd rather have him go that way, and then it'll be easier for him to come
Or
down.
bridge out or something.
Yeah, exactly, and then I
So
can,
you're using a lot of the icons. I see you
Mhm.
jumping around, but
yeah,
when you're learning it, I imagine they were all available under the actual menu, sub-menus, home, address.
everything,
Right.
yeah, we have
So
at
like there's-
least 3 ways to get to each
Okay.
thing. And it's
Okay.
because some people are comfortable with the mouse and right-clicking, some people are comfortable with drop-down menus,
Yeah.
some people are comfortable
That's
with
what I
the
like
ribbon
to see.
bars, with Office
Okay.
now, you have the ribbon bar. A lot of people are comfortable
Huh.
with that.
All
So there's,
3 ways are available.
yeah, there's drop-downs
I'm worried
here,
about
there's
learning.
right-clicks on the
Because
map.
you clearly know the software, you're
Exactly.
jumping all around.
So
but Someone
yeah.
learning it.
I
that's
get yelled
good
at
to-
because I go too fast, sorry.
But it's a demo, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's the
Okay.
thing, once you know, and I mean, when I went through, like, right now I'm doing optimization for an American school in Singapore, and they have a lot of gated communities, literally gated communities, all towers, right? Huge ass apartments, towers, but the bus can only go to where the gate is for all of those apartments. So I'm locating, I mean, the kids are located everywhere throughout there, but I have to go in and I have to figure out the best place to put a stop by finding the gated community. Well, how do I do that? I go to Google Satellite View. I literally click on here, go to Google Satellite View, go down to Street View and start driving, just walking down the road. Oh, there's the gate. That's where I need it.
Wow.
And I put the stop there. So it's, you know what I mean? It's real quick and easy, because when you're in Google, if you have a latitude, longitude of where you're at, which you can, you right click, you say, what's here? It gives you the latitude, longitude.
Yeah.
I type it in there and it takes me right to that spot in Westmont. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
really easy to know what you're doing and get around. And they're actually trying to get me the locations, but it's faster for me than for them. I don't know how, they're taking forever. I want to get this done for them, so. They need routes for June 1st. They start school June 1st, so they need those routes like now. And I'm like, okay, forget it, I'll take care of it. It's no problem, so.
What size buses do they use, sir?
It's weird. They sent me pictures of the buses, and the buses actually have, their roads are, you drive on the left side, so the doors are on the left side, but they're doors that open up like, really, okay? So they have anywhere from 24 to 45 passenger buses, but then there's a lot of narrow roads, so we had to put height and weight restrictions on the roads, so that only certain size buses would go down those roads to get those kids. Yeah, we've been having fun, because the right-sided pickups are actually on the other side. Yeah. So, when you have to stop, you gotta account for that, so. But, I mean, the program, honestly, is really, when you're working with just the students and the routes and working around the map, there's a lot that it does. And, to really get fast like me, it takes a little while to get to that point. But to get your kids to get your routes done, it doesn't take that long, Like I said, we would start you off with everything you already have, and then we could offer an additional fleet optimization for you to suggest routes for you. And then they'd be in your database, so you could see them and play with them, and then at the same time, create your own and play with and do your own. And then, see what, if you do want to change routes. It's hard when you have a lot of parents, and if you have a lot of private schools like you guys do, if you have a lot of transfer points, that stuff really gets parents, so you want to, you guys know more about who you can piss off and who you can't, so. So, we look at
We
it.
do a blanket
Yeah,
recommendation, but then we can
Mhm.
tweak the optimization.
yeah, exactly. And we can, with the fleet optimization, you can set transfer points. You can say where you want your kids to transfer at, and then it'll generate the routes and say, no, they're transferring at this point. And then just get them to that point, and then create the routes that go from the transfer point.
Because right now, we transfer the Berks Catholic kids, they do a run, pick everybody up, and then head down at Maple Springs Deli. They
Yeah.
combine onto one bus.
Yeah, the data you guys
Yeah.
sent me. I had one kid here that's on 6 stops. He was like, I was like, are you kidding me? So I mean, it was going Blacksmith at Horseshoe and then transferring at Birchboro. Oh, he's a Berks Catholic, and then Blacksmith at Horseshoe, and then Hampton at Denise, and then, so, I mean, it's like, they're going all the way, So I had 5 pages of kids that transfer, and it's most of it is your private school kids, but there are some kids that ride, but yeah, so that.
6 transfers between the way,
Three,
between and the way.
well, it's actually
Out.
3 buses each way, or 3
Are we allowed to speak here?
Sure.
I'm not aware of any students that transfer more than one time.
Okay, well, this is the data you guys sent me, so I have, like one goes from Magnolia at Willowwood to Douglasville transfer to Coventry Christian, and then from Coventry Christian goes home to Magnolia at Willowwood.
Send it to
So-
me tomorrow.
I'm sorry?
Send it to me, please.
Yeah, this is the spreadsheet you guys sent.
Yeah.
I just sorted the routes,
With the, you can send me the names, and
okay.
I'll check what,
Yeah.
how Ron's got it.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, because that's, I mean, all the kids that transferred, I didn't put in this.
Yeah, yeah,
demo.
yeah.
I
It's
just
a
picked the ones that
demo,
just do,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
there and back. And some of
Thank
them
you
only
for-
got picked up, some of them only got dropped off. So again, those kids, you'll see, if there's kids that have just student routing, let's see, alternate style assignments. Do I have any of those? Yeah, like you'll see here, this kid gets picked up and then dropped off. So you see there's different pickup versus drop-off stop. Some kids only go one way. They only get picked up or they only get dropped off. So you can see, all the different changes in them.
Okay, we don't want to
Depending
leave
on-
that too long.
Yeah.
We
So,
get the
and
idea.
it depends, because some of them could get a sitter. I don't know if you guys do sitter, or maybe mom in the morning, dad in the, I don't know, but there were a lot
Right.
of them like that
Right.
too, so. So, yeah, and that's what we do. We make sure that the kids get assigned the way that you have them
The
assigned.
surrounding school districts
Mhm.
could have bus boss also. Could they interact within the routing?
Within, as far as,
Well, as far as these transfers.
well, that's, I remember who was it, Bethel Park? They were using a contractor that was doing all of their private school kids, because they were doing the private school kids for 4
Just
districts.
several different districts.
Yeah, for several different, that one
I know-
contractor.
No, I know one year that we tried
Mhm.
to get some cooperation from either it was Mr. Eshelman or it was Ole, wherever the students were gone.
Mhm.
So if we could get a drop-off point and maybe cut some busing.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
if you could interact that, if other surrounding districts would have this, now I don't know that,
Yeah, you could actually have the route end at the transfer point. It doesn't have to end at their school.
but as long as the other districts or transportation
As long,
would know, they would have this.
You're not
Yeah,
putting
they
other
have to be able
schools'
to-
districts routes in.
you can't
Your
have the
software.
district routes,
Yeah.
no, because you need the kids and everything else that they're running. And then that would mess up your state report, because now you're counting those kids. You know what I mean? That would get really, yeah. But if you use a contractor to do that, then the contractor would have bus laws. And then the contractor would create all those routes, you know what I mean? And since they're
Right.
private school
Right.
kids, you don't get reimbursed for them anyway, right? For transportation, you get reimbursed for
We get a
those.
per head for those. Well, in
How does
addition,
that, yeah, there's a different,
there's an extra.
yeah, that's what I thought, it's a different kind
For
of.
non-pubs.
Yeah, yeah. So, they could give you those
Okay,
numbers.
I'm good. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'm good.
You good, Lauren?
Okay, yeah, I don't want to, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's already 10 up, yeah.
Any more
you're right.
questions? Any more reports, anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
could I just clarify, both of the examples that you gave in the beginning, with the 11 buses and 13 buses,
Mhm.
they were both just PEC, is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah, they would just be.
Because what we're
Yeah,
doing
'cause they
now,
had to take away the gas.
yeah, what we're doing now is combos with PEC and MEC, which would add students and also more ride time.
Yeah, and that's
I would-
right,
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 it was just demo. I don't
They
think
were
we're trying to
just,
do a
he
comparison
was
to
trying
what
to do,
we have
yeah,
now.
35
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
versus,
I was
yeah.
just trying to
Right.
watch
just
the
trying to see.
I
process.
just want to make sure I understood that properly.
Yeah, let's be clear on that, right? You
Yeah,
can't compare
definitely.
apples and oranges here.
Yeah. No, it was definitely just BEC, yeah. And that was versus 35 minutes versus 50 minutes, that was what you guys went to.
Right, that was the exercise,
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay,
Anybody, anything else?
good, okay. Thank you
Never
so
turn the
much.
lights on, Connor. Oh, yeah. It wasn't working, that's not
Oh, no, I don't want to update.
Thank you, Sonia.
Sure, I'm going to close it. I'll do that at home. Did you want the?
You have a quote?
Well, I
I think you covered the question I was asking, that if
Oh, okay,
bus ball
that,
software, you could add optimization
as an
as,
additional.
as
Yes.
a point of purchase, and then we can get what the
Right.
bus bosses, we
Yeah.
don't need to generate our own routes. We
No,
can
no,
give
we-
suggestion, you can tweak them. And
Exactly.
you have bills for that? I mean, I guess you're in contact with her at the business, Okay.
You said they're on the website.
That's all.
The different, what the different services cost, right?
Well, I brought what I would normally just like email that includes everything that we offer.
Okay.
I did bring a copy of what I would email them, so I can
Why don't you
I
give
can
the
give it to you.
board? Yeah, that's fine.
Because this has the software with the first year support, and then it has the data and route conversions, and then the training, and then everything else that we offer, the iBus Boss, the GPS tracking, the custom input tool.
Yeah.
We talked about getting the data back and forth from the student information system, GPS tracking for vehicles, student tracking, and then what the renewal rate, the support would be for next year.
Okay, great.
So it breaks it all down, yeah.
Thanks.
And this was based on the numbers that I had from last, I think it was like 3,900 kids. I'm not, so again,
Okay, it is
I'll get
based on
final,
enrollment, I mean, it's not.
it's based on the number of students transferred, number of students enrolled, number of vehicles, and that's, and the counties. So that's what it's
Okay.
based on, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can see it, and I'll take it, okay, yeah. Not a problem.
I think you have base number 6120.
It says it on there. Does it say the number up top with the number?
It says 68, well,
It says, based on 3297 was the last number I got from you guys. 3297 enrolled and transported. So depending on what, if it's higher, because I think that number you guys are giving me didn't include your non-pubs. I think maybe that's why the number was lower, because when I got your list of kids, I think it was more like 4,000.
Yes, the initial submission was, there were no non-pubs, there were no out-of-district.
Exactly.
And that's why I said, hey, guys, you send her everything, and said, no.
It's okay. It's just
So,
a
yeah, I mean, I'll get
We're not
formal,
trying to
definitely
get-
formal proposal for you guys, once you tell me what you want in the
Yeah.
proposal.
Mr. Small, be in
That's
touch
why,
with you.
yeah, that's why I gave you the list of everything, and that way you just tell me what you,
Thank you.
and I can email that to you too, separately, then that way you have an actual email of it, and just reply to that email. This is mine, okay.
So I'll just bring up the top.
thank you, Sonia.
Oh, no, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Okay.
see you.
Very good.
Man.
You know, it was a long trip from us.
Oh, yeah, it was so. It was Beth right at the diner. I could, right in
Oh,
my
yeah,
house. Why
it
is
can be
that?
terrible
so
there,
bad
yeah.
back there?
It's what back up, no, always is
Yeah.
dinner time.
I'm gonna find some documents. Thanks, guys. Good night. See ya. See ya.
Okay, so I guess now we will talk about, do you have a, probably don't have a copy of the RFP there. No, I don't. Yeah, that's fine. Take that, I'll be on the one. Thank you, sir. So once again, let's just walk through the RFP here briefly. Karen, you weren't here for the prior discussion. So essentially, what we discussed with Mr. Small is that we'll talk about the RFP for a bit. The cover page here has the main issues that we think we need to cover and perhaps provide further detail to Mr. Small about. He had said that if we could respond to him with our recommendations by, you said Monday the
Third.
3rd of June, then he would have time to get them in the RFP, to get a draft RFP ready for the cow. Okay? Does that make sense?
Give me any input based upon this from 2 months ago when we initially went down through terms of contract. I think we pretty much decided we're going to bring the management of the routes back in-house. Location of bus lot. Do you want to purchase the fuel, or do you want to shift that to the contractor? Age of equipment, I'm going to send you some other scenarios. I had some in here, but give you an idea, give me your input on that. And then the requirements regarding what you want for audio, video devices, and how that would be costed out, compensated, whatever. And the EpiPen requirements and training. So once you give me your input as a committee, I'll put it into a draft RFP, I'll fire it back to you, look it over, and then we'll bring it to the agenda for the cow in June. Full board can review it as a recommendation from the committee. And from there, we'll put it on the voting agenda for June so that we can receive RFPs in July.
Does that timetable,
Receive responses to the RFP.
right, does that timetable seem reasonable to everyone?
Yep.
Is there,
We can get them back here and processed in July. There won't be a meeting in July, but we'll bring the results back to the Cal in August.
right,
Because we normally don't meet, if I sense that there's a need that we want to get together as a committee in July, we could, but there are no
schedule board
Cal
meetings and
or voting meetings scheduled for July.
right.
I have a question about the process. So suppose we sit here as a committee or as a board and we say, we want, video surveillance, or we want audio, and we want EpiPen. What if a bidder doesn't, can provide everything except one component?
You can negotiate an RFP response.
You can. Because I don't want to exclude people if it's not, I would like to have the discussion,
You can go back.
specified audio, video, we only have audio, we're not willing to do an upgrade on the buses. I want to have that
Well,
dialogue.
and you can ask for with and without, right? Like if
With
you,
and without.
You can
Yeah.
ask that way, and then you can.
then you
call
can
them in.
determine whether, from a
Okay.
cost benefit, you think it's
Frankly,
worth the additional
that's what I'm
cost.
thinking about the last two. I'd like to see with
We
or
had 2
without.
meetings with the contractor you approved last night after the RFP came in.
Good, okay. Just the process.
You have that
Can
ability.
we ask, what's the standard camera system to cover on a bus?
For bus.
You talking
The
like
cost?
I
What
think
would not
about
cost as much as,
$1,400
but then how many cameras are we talking? We're talking
to, to,
In the bus.
one in the very front and one above the driver.
How much do you add for stop arm cameras?
Honestly, don't know.
They're probably pretty pricey though, right? I mean, more, okay. I was just curious, yeah, I don't know.
It depends on what,
Yeah.
are you concerned about student behavior, or are you concerned about
Safety.
motorist behavior?
Right. Right. Yeah, and once again, we don't have
Yeah.
any, we have very little anecdotal data suggesting how often there are actual potential incidents with the student safety, right? With drivers not obeying the reds and stopping and then, so
It happens.
I know that it happens. I mean, there's no,
Do you direct your drivers to report all run-bys?
We direct them to, if they have everything that they need to report, identify the driver, license plate.
Right, and that's tough.
and
That's
Not
tough.
it's
tracking
tough.
it,
But I was
just
curious if
counting.
you just simply asked.
it just number.
You, whether they have a license number or not. If you
Informally.
had any idea, 6 times a month,
Right, right.
you
6
have
times a
drive-bys.
day.
I couldn't put a number to that.
No, that's fine. I was just curious if you asked your drivers to.
They usually come in and report it anyway, because they're usually upset.
Yeah, and they might know that it's their neighbor down the road, so they can get the license number. So,
right, so
that's
get
what I'm
this-
looking for from you folks.
Okay, I'm good on that. Can we talk about that last item, or?
Yeah, that's
Want to
fine.
For a minute?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead since
Okay, I
you-
just wanted to explore that option. I did ask CCS to be here about neighboring district busing. So the example that I have, the person who came to me is actually hosting 2 Asians from Korea, and she's right around that Awatin Creek Elementary School, and she's driving to Coventry Christian, which is 22 miles each way. So she drives them to school because Exeter doesn't bus. So she drives them to school and back, 44 miles in the morning, and then she goes and picks them up at 3 o'clock. 44 miles, so it's 88 miles a day. Comes out to like 13,000 miles a year. That's like $1,300, I think, in fuel. So my question is, my thinking is, now if she could bring those kids to the edge of the district, like Yellow House Hotel, say, that's a 4.5-mile ride for her. So she'd have to do that twice a day. And we invite all the students in Exeter who go to CCS, which I think is 10 or 12, I forget. I did talk to Tina McIntyre. And we say, drop them off at Yellow House, and we make sure the CCS bus stops, at Yellow House to pick the kids up, take them to CCS. What arrangement can we make, financial arrangements can we make with Exeter District to provide that busing at a fee for those neighboring district residents who want to use our busing? And it seems like it could be kind of like a free revenue generator for us, because we're running routes to CCS anyway, and we take, I don't know how many kids.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
we're thinking
who
on
the-
that?
Well,
Is
question.
Exeter they wouldn't pay a dime,
No.
because they're not legally required. to.
No,
So I don't think
the
it's a
parents.
business.
What the
Okay,
family actually told me, we could charge them whatever, because these are wealthy families in this particular case from Korea, and they have to pay transportation. They pay for their taxi service if the kids want to go somewhere. And I don't want to exaggerate the situation, but just saying, what would we want to try to monetize that by starting to have those discussions? Now, I also talked to the business manager at Exeter, and she said it was an interesting proposal. She would want to talk to you about it.
I'll look into it. How far is it? I don't know where Exeter's boundary exactly is.
It's right on,
It's near Meeting House Road is,
Yeah.
on 562.
on 562.
Well, where is it on 420?
It's up at Ball,
that's CJ Tire.
Okay, that's where I thought, because I see Exeter buses cutting across there.
Yeah.
Daniel
Daniel
Boone
Boone
Road. Yeah.
Okay.
We actually, and Evangeline Road is actually in Exeter Township, but we bring some students out of Evangeline Road to there and pick them, but we pick up in Exeter Township. So it's, you might want to call Daniel Boone Road
Yeah.
a good.
And where exactly is CCS?
Saratoga, yeah.
Oh,
And
it's all
they're
the way
in
on
our,
the other side.
Right.
we have to bus
But I
our
think
kids to
Coventry, I think
Saratoga.
this side is
Yeah.
100.
So this particular woman's spending not only the gas, the
Yeah.
extra
oil changes, 13,000 miles on her car.
Well, and
You know,
time. I
One
mean, it's
quarter
not
of her
just-
tires, her time.
Yeah, I mean, that,
is
it's not just
outrageous.
financial, right? It's also that she spends an hour a day each way or whatever, or, a half hour each way twice a day.
Yeah.
So-
And there are contracts in place already between Daniel Boone and Exeter to bus students when they have to by law, right? We know there are already contracts in place, so I'm wondering if that contract could be,
Well, I mean, you could set up for all the private schools that parents have to traverse one side of the district to the other that we're sending our kids to. I mean, that could be a significant revenue generator.
I'm wondering.
I'm thinking.
I'm just and CCS
Obviously, it's not reimbursable because they're not our students.
right, so it wouldn't be reimbursable, so you'd have to separate that
Yeah.
treatment somehow. But it's a thought, even Ole, the south end of Ole, like if Yellow House Hotel was our stop, and I don't even know if they would, that would be feasible. I just picked the parking lot in that area, because maybe you want one on 422 and 562. But some of those kids from Ole, I haven't even looked into that, might want to send their kids to CCS too. They don't bus because it's too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a market there possibly for generating some
Perhaps
revenue.
a local charter company that would,
And as I say, I think you could get $1,000 or $2,000 out of each family to do that. And I even suggested to Exeter that they would charge a fee for processing the paperwork, a couple $100.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Can-
I'll
can-
pass you the names that I have.
Can we ask, what would you, in the RFP, can you give us some input on anything you see on the horizon that you would want to see in this to make it fair for everyone?
The RFP, by and large, is the current contract,
Right.
with the
That's
exception
the-
of what we've been discussing here related to fuel, transportation clerk, age requirements.
Well, one thing with fuel, obviously, that's a big number, no matter how you look at it. My personal feeling is that the way it is now benefits not only us, but I think it benefits the district. If we're going to buy the fuel, then we're going to have fuel cost adjustment clauses in there. And we're also going to have to estimate, because I don't know how you guys, but I don't know what fuel's going to be in a couple of years. I don't think it's going to be as low as what it is right now, but who knows?
And that is one of those items that will definitely be in there both ways.
Right.
You
Yeah.
already have an
That's,
escalator clause paragraph in there.
no, with and without, right?
But the concept of your response, you will be able to respond both ways. But I'll have a clause in there so you would know what we would make available. If the contractor would have provided for it. I've done it both ways up north, and you're right, when fuel was going crazy, we had escalator clauses that protected the
Because
contractor.
we got burned really bad one year.
You
It
had,
jumped $1,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
we came back to the board, and they laughed at us.
Well, the thing is, in that situation, they had a bid from the county consortium for purchasing fuel, and that consortium made a contract with a supplier that went out of business in the middle of the school year, because he wasn't able to supply the fuel at the price that he quoted it. So by that time, fuel had gone way up, and we were the ones holding back.
He must have had a performance bond in place to,
We didn't get anything out of
Yeah,
it.
we didn't get nothing.
why they would have bid it without a performance bond.
It was the whole county, it wasn't just Inglewood,
Yeah.
and we had nothing to do with that, but.
Uh,
Audio video devices, as I understood it, that's gonna be up in the air as to the percentage of units that you're gonna want to put with those, or,
Going to itemize in there, in the bus, outside the bus, give you some options for what you would supply.
and another concern that we always have is what government mandates are gonna come down the road, because that could be huge also.
You've got to have protection on that too.
Yeah.
You have no control.
Right, you know, all of a sudden they decide they want seatbelts in buses or something like that.
We just, every district, or every school district in the nation got a mandate last week from Washington.
And I guess age of vehicles, is that still something that you're discussing? Because, you know, we do have, I'm sure if you've reviewed the contract, you see that we do have in the contract for older vehicles at a lesser price, and that was kind of at the request of the previous committee when they were looking to try to keep their budget low. They asked us for some give backs, and that was one of the things that we horse traded.
Yep.
I think that's all that I can think of.
You know, we do run a combination of years. You know, we have new, 1 to 3, 4 to 6. We don't have just all old buses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I did a, based on what Ron sent over, what you have on your thing, I did a spreadsheet on it, sorted it out. Okay.
Good.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for now?
Very good.
Two thoughts.
Yes.
So one, what's the status of the transportation clerk? I know we've had discussions back and forth whether we want that to be an in-house position or with the contractor.
I think there's consensus that we want to hear.
Okay, good. Then I just had another thought, again, what revenue enhancement potentially. Maybe we can offer, this might be really out there, but I know there's a certain requirement to have a parking lot, whatever, I don't know how you describe it,
The location
The
of
bus
the
lot.
lot
bus lot,
and
there
a
we go.
certain
The
distance.
location of bus lot.
Yeah.
Could we offer an option perhaps? Maybe we could lease out space on district property for a lot if we have any. I don't know where that might be, but if we offer $20,000 lease, I don't know what would be.
I'd want to check the liability requirements with our insurance carrier.
Okay.
If we had, 30 buses parked on a parking lot someplace, vandalism or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if it's worth investigating or not, but if we can get some money out of it, take off the top, just an option, maybe,
As opposed to them finding their own place.
you know.
Yes, if there's any insurance policy for that, other than that, we
And
have
if we have
space.
space.
We're at middle
Right.
school? What do you think?
I don't know, I don't know specifically where. We might have to,
Maybe way back in,
maybe even is there space in this building?
because the kids don't drive at the middle school.
What's our total number of
That's a big
buses
one.
right now? Between-
What's that?
What's the
When
total
they do it,
number?
was probably about 60.
Well, there's also that extra lot at the high school where the teachers park. And there's room up front.
60 buses?
Maybe they put some into it.
We have a hard time just unloading the buses.
I know,
at high
I know.
school, let alone
Maybe
parking.
we could assign bus driving duties to the teachers
Are we done here?
with that point.
I
Good?
don't know.
Anybody else? Okay,
Good.
yep, adjourned.
I don't mean, any public comment?
Hit the button.
More public
Oh, yeah,
comment?
Hit the button.
Everybody good?
Hit the button.